Welcome and happy holidays from 2K Sports. It'll be the visiting team facing the home team. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by Greg Anthony and Richard Jefferson, with David Aldridge roaming the sideline. Offensive rebound. Outside for Jackson. Just 5 on the clock. To the inside. Ayton. And Ayton throws it down.
With his length, Ayton can easily get to the rim. In fact, he almost makes it look too easy.
Pass to Cunningham. Idle for 3. Bangs home the trifecta. We know these teams among the best defensive squads in the NBA. This figures to be a low-scoring affair.
But it should be an entertaining one, Kevin. And if you're a fan of high-intensity, high-energy defense, there's a lot to love about this matchup. And one step ahead of the defense with that solid screen.
And then, Greg, the monster dunk to finish it off.
Oh, great chemistry on display. He understood where to put the screen in order to free up his teammate.
And the lack of effort to fight over the screen there makes that an easy shot.
Yeah, as soon as these guys feel contact, they are just disappearing like they're not even there. You got to show some fire and keep defending.
Really no idea why you're fouling in a situation like that. You know, maybe there's some bad blood between those two.
Now here's Jackson. Looking at his numbers, he's averaging about 6.5 points a game.
The defense had the pass well anticipated. They know the offense wants to get that ball inside.
Here is Cunningham. Pass to Edey. And it's Thibault in the corner. A three-pointer, no good.
And the defense dodged one right there. Not the guy you want to leave open.
And Ayton throws it down.
Not afraid to throw his big body around. Ayton good at keeping plays going.
Now here's Cunningham. And you can see his scoring totals. Those are some pretty good numbers. He's putting up close to 15 points a game on average. Thibault can't get it to go. Here's George. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line.
And you know, George is a tough cover. The length, the range, smooth athlete, very difficult to match up with.
And George drops them both. First quarter of basketball, just over 2.5 minutes play. Time now to turn to our sideline reporter, David Aldridge. David.
Hey, Kevin, briefly spoke with Joe Mazzulla. We talked about the matchup problems that Chet Holmgren presents. He said defensively, Chet can warp the inside of the paint. And at the other end, he's going to drag his matchup out to the three-point line. That's what makes this 7-footer such a special player. Guys?
Thank you, David. Now, here is George. He's one of the most resourceful scorers you'll ever see. He's generating an average of around 33.5 points a game. Pass to Exum. Now, here's Cunningham. Here's Thibault. From outside, off the mark.
Not his best efficiency this quarter. Sometimes that's how it goes.
George with the bucket.
I love seeing George be so assertive down low. Certainly doesn't lack confidence. An accomplished scorer.
Pass to Thibault. It's deflected. The jump hook. He's now 1 for 2 with that bucket.
2 minutes remaining.
Now George. There's 1:54 left to play in the first. Lets the three fly. Sinks the triple. George has got 7 points in the game.
Calm and cool from distance. George really confident from beyond.
To the paint. Lays it up and in on the nice reverse. George has got his third bucket of the night.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
And a wide open look for Cunningham. Here's Edey. Collects the two-pointer near the hoop. Edey's got his second basket. And here's George. 9 points in the game so far. Out of hand on it. Ball's knocked loose. Stolen by Ball. Pass to Ayton. Misses in close. They can trade 2 for 1 here.
Would be the right move, I believe, right now.
And it's Exum in the corner. Here's the 3. Rebounded by DeAndre Ayton. Here's George. From down in the low post, it goes. 11 points in the game.
As hot as he's been this quarter, the game plan is simple, folks. Get him the ball and get out of the way.
Pass to Exum. Nice jump shot. Good.
He'll be asking for some lottery numbers later if he keeps knocking down shots like that.
There's Jackson with the 3. And that does it for the first quarter. Up 5. We've got more hoops coming your way in just
17.
And thanks again for tuning in. If you're just joining us, we've played through 1 quarter of action so far. And looking at what we've seen so far, guys, from the visiting team, what do you think?
Well, they used the fast break to generate some easy buckets before the defense could get set.
In this league, it is so hard scoring in the half court, so you have to run every time you get the opportunity.
And you see that one-motion shot. Cunningham very consistent from distance. And what strikes me about Cade Cunningham is he's still growing. He's still capable of doing more on the floor. And he has the work ethic and attitude to make those improvements and become a real factor on the floor.
Pass to Podziemski. Down low. Shot clock at 6. A 3 ball. No good that time.
And the great shooters know when they've got enough opening to go for the 3. I didn't think it was a bad choice on that possession.
And we're starting the second quarter, about a minute gone. And that one ends up out of bounds. And they retain possession.
Yeah, gets a finger on it, but just can't quite come up with the steal.
That's fine. You love the effort, not making things easy for the opposition on offense.
Inside. And there's a whistle. That goes on Zach Edey. That is his first foul of the game.
Second team foul. Coming on the floor, number 13.
George with the ball. 11 points in the game. Pass to Cunningham. We're about a minute and a half into the second quarter now. Here's Podziemski. And that won't go, missing the go-ahead bucket. Ball with a wide open look. And a miss there on the triple. Here's Cunningham. And you can see his scoring totals. Those are some pretty good numbers. He's putting up close to 15 points a game on average.
Oh, defending Cunningham, boy, a challenge. You have to pay extra attention. That's when you leave someone open.
On the wing, George. He's one of the most resourceful scorers you'll ever see. He's generating an average of around 33.5 points a game.
I tell you what, it's almost like stealing to watch how he plays the game from this seat.
Pass to Podziemski. Paul George with the steal. Here's Ayton. And Ayton throws it down.
Outrunning the opposition. Ayton's got those long strides.
Now Pajemski, defended by George. Now Pajemski, still without a basket. Puts up a deep three. Not going to fall. Starting off slow, he misses his first three from the floor.
More good work on the glass there. When it's all said and done, I think rebounding might tell the story in this game.
And that one's good, Ayton.
He has been a key factor for them offensively, scoring with consistency.
Now, here's Cunningham. Pass to Edey. Poked away. And now the fast break. George with the ball. And it's George finishing it off.
A ferocious player in transition. George takes full advantage of the fast break when given the opportunity.
Here's Edey. He's covered by Ayton. Off the run. Edey gets the bucket. Edey. And something that every NBA player has now that maybe they didn't a couple years ago, RJ, their own personal trainer.
Well, it's just a beautiful investment of your own resources back into your body. I love that players are hiring chefs, dietitians, sleep aides, and the teams are hiring them. I love every aspect of that.
And the timeout called by Darko Rojakovic. He wants a minute here to get things straightened out with his team. And here's George. He's got 13. Down to 5 on the shot clock. It's Cunningham with the rebound. Pass to Edey. Back to Cunningham. Here's Edey. Pajemski with it. And it's Thibault in the corner. Off target with his three.
And hard work on the glass. Once again, guys, they put a lot of effort and focus on the backboard.
And while we've got a moment, let's send it over to our terrific reporter, David Aldridge. David?
Kevin, thanks. At this point in his career, Paul George says he's in bully mode. He said, every night I'm on the floor, I'm there to dominate. Whether it's being more physical or going right at whoever I got to go at, you're going to feel me. I'm having that approach every time. I'm there to destroy you. Kevin?
3 points.
Wow. I love it, though, D.A. I got to admit it. Awful powerful. Thank you. Cunningham outside. Here's Pajemski. And they come right back with their own three-pointer. Pajemski's got himself on the board with 3 there. To the middle. Here's Ayton. And Ayton throws it down.
Oh, taking it to the rack with power.
Hammering down the two-hand slam. Shot and game clock separated by 5. To the paint. Pass to Thibault. Traps in the tray. Thibault got 6.
They're having more success from three-point range here in the second after a rough first quarter from deep.
To the inside. Ayton. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here. Zach Edey picks one up. First trip to the line for him here.
And so far this season, shooting at a 75% clip from the line. Wow. What, did he have something in his eye on that shot?
Maybe. And we've got a timeout from Joe Mazzulla. And coach has decided they need a moment to talk things over. Dinwiddie for three. And we've got second half action for you. Thus far, a pretty evenly contested game. Pass to Exum. Fires the three. Here's Edey. Rebounded by DeAndre Ayton. Holmgren the screen. And George, here we go. Made that one. It's his 7th of the contest. 7 for 15 from the floor.
And it's really hard to knock George off his balance. He's just so long and strong. Nice take there.
Pass to Thibault. Back to Cunningham. On the wing, Barnes. Misses the three.
And they start the second half with 3 straight misses.
And now they decide to foul intentionally.
First team foul.
Here's Ayton. 12 points for him. And stolen by Thibault. All alone. Rips down the breakaway slam.
I tell you what, they won't be down for long if they can get some more early offense like that.
Here's Ball. Can't connect from short range. Cunningham with it. Down low. Here's Thibault. And so Joe Mazzulla calls for the timeout. Wants to talk some things over. Might be seeing some things to adjust. And we're just about a minute and a half into the third quarter of basketball. 6 to shoot. Pass to Edey. Over Ayton. Off the left rim and out.
Ooh, this is turning into a slow start here in the second half. Seems like they left that offense in the locker room.
So it's the visitors now. Outside, George. Holmgren the screen. Shot clock at 5.
Rough start to the second half for them, only getting 1 of the past 4 shots to fall.
Here is Cunningham. Pass to Edey. Over Ayton. Edey gets the bucket. Edey's got 12 in the game. It's a neck-and-neck game here in Oklahoma City. They've got the Timberwolves ahead of them next in Minneapolis. Sets in motion a 4-game road trip for him. And the foul called on Cade Cunningham. That will get him his 4th foul of the game.
Second team.
His 4th personal foul. We'll see how the coaching staff handles this.
George looking over the floor. Jackson from long range. That ball's nice feed that time from George.
And what kind of defense was that? You can't give up wide open threes like that. What are you doing?
Cunningham for 3. Rebounded by DeAndre Ayton.
And on an open look like that, he's very gifted at making the weak coverage pay.
You gotta love his hustle, leaving the defense no time to react.
And all of a sudden, that man was just on the other end. Wow.
They set the pick.
Away team foul.
And the call will be against Lonzo Ball. That is his first foul of the game.
First team foul.
Now Cunningham. 5 on the clock. Wants to get it to Barnes and does. Inside. And it's Barnes slamming it down.
Okay, HB, I see you still pack a punch. That's an impressive finish.
In the third quarter with just over 3.5 minutes off the clock. And so they foul intentionally.
Timeout.
And so Joe Mazzulla calls for the timeout. He wants to check in with his team and regroup. Just over 3.5 minutes through the third quarter of play now.
Number 5.
Outside, George. Three-pointer. Rebounded by Exum.
But still, eventually you got to feel like he'll start knocking those down again.
Cunningham for three. Hands it from downtown. Cunningham's got 6.
You can't lose a shooter like him on the court. The ball will find its way to him, and he will drill a 3 each time.
Outside, George. Pass to Ayton. Outside for George. Tried to answer back, but that 3 is off the mark. .131 left to play in the third. To the inside. And here's Exum. Lock at 6. Over in the corner, Cunningham. For the lead. And the rejection by Ayton.
So difficult to shoot over. Ayton proving it with that rejection.
1:14 left in the third quarter. Right side, Ball. Back to George. Pass to Walker. Launches a 3. It's hauled in by Thibault. Cunningham outside. Over in the corner, Barnes. Good, and the assist goes to Cunningham. Barnes has got 5 points now in the quarter.
Nice work by Barnes in that coffin corner. He really had that bad boy dialed in.
Here's George. The kick out to Ball. Back to George. Pass the ball. 5 to shoot. Back to George. Fires from way outside.
He missed that one, but I've seen him drill shots from that distance in warm-up.
Even though he is capable of hitting that shot, I'd like to see him work for a better look in that situation.
And we've got a timeout from Joe Mazzulla. He's ready to talk things through with the team. Both teams deciding to change it up. Dinwiddie surveying the floor. Pass to Pajemski. Paul George with the steal. Jackson has the open look. Nailed from three-point land. Jackson's got 6. Guys, we're not through 3 quarters of play, but 6 lead changes already in this one.
Yeah, competitive, and I think we all can agree that we thought this would be
41.
And with the teams locked in a very close contest. This fourth quarter promises to be a good one. Now, here's George from deep three-point territory. Edey with the rebound. And here's Cunningham. There's a good screen. Down low. Here's Barnes. And it's Barnes slamming it down.
And one step ahead of the defense with that solid screen.
And then, Greg, the monster dunk to finish it off.
Well, great great chemistry on display. He understood where to put the screen in order to free up his teammate.
Here's Ayton. And Ayton throws it down.
And he shows us all what the breakaway rim was invented for.
Can you believe he almost brought the whole thing down by hanging on that long? Pass to Exum. Six on the shot clock. And the dunk by Barnes.
When a crafty scorer like Barnes gets on a roll, it can turn into a big night.
George with the ball. Fourth quarter now. We're about a minute and a half in. And it's a defensive 3-second violation. And the technical free throw is good.
And I love the footwork Ayton possesses. It's what makes him so dangerous close to the rim.
And Ayton gets double teamed. And George is good for three. George has got 23.
He was solid in the first half from deep. He's a guy who can get hot. Let's see how he does here in the second.
And it's Exum in the corner. Pass to Thibault. This one for three. And it's Ayton with the rebound. And it's Paul George with the finish.
And putting his explosive athleticism on full display there. George is capable of some highlight reel dunks.
Thibault for three. It's Chet Holmgren with the rebound.
And he might have thrown himself off when he saw how much space he had for three.
And what I love about Paul George, the production, year after year after year.
At the line for the away team, Paul George.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Just a little under 2.5 minutes have passed now here in the fourth. Thibault on the wing. Offensive struggles continue, missing again.
Well, his shooting is unfortunately not a big thing. And his lackluster accuracy is probably the thing that's keeping them behind.
Cunningham outside. Pulls up. Tips it up. Great positioning on the putback.
I love the determination he showed there, getting himself into good position under the glass.
With the presence of mind to know just where the rebound was going to come down. Well timed. And that one's good, George.
And he has just been in a flow offensively. Terrific game. He has been the X factor.
Cunningham for three. Rebounded by Jackson.
And I thought that was going to drop. It looked good from here.
Count that one. 34 points for Paul George.
The ball movement on this run has been fantastic and is a big part of why they've been able to get these good looks.
Pass to Edey. Back to Pajemski. And it's Thibault in the corner. Off target from outside.
And not allowing the shooter even an inch of breathing room on that one.
I'm sure they'll think twice about shooting against him next time.
And this offense is in a perfect rhythm. And you can see how they're finishing their plays.
Right about that. Seems like they haven't missed.
Cunningham looking it over. Just 5 to shoot. Pass to Barnes. To stop the run. It's Chet Holmgren with the rebound. Here's George. It's Cunningham with the rebound. And the call will be against Lonzo Ball. That's foul number 2 for him. Greg, a lot of parity around the NBA. You think fans like that?
That's a great question, Kevin. And there are trade-offs, but as a league, you've got to foster competition and live with the results. And the reality is, doesn't it feel better when there are more teams that have a legitimate chance to win it all?
You give a shooter of his caliber that much time to seam it up, oh yeah, you're done.
Pass to Ayton. Got a piece of it. Here's Pajemski. Barnes outside. Three-pointer. Couldn't get it to drop. He's now made 5 of 8 shots. Here's George. Goes to the reverse layup and drops it in. George has got 39.
And they came in determined to take this one. It's going to be a happy flight home.
And as it should be. To be this dominant on another team's floor, look, when you go home, you're going to go home feeling good.
There's the screen. Pass to Thibault. Good, and the assist goes to Cunningham. 32 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Now here's Jackson. Jackson is doubled. And the ball's tied up, so we'll have a jump ball. On the wing, Barnes. Off the mark, had a chance to trim it to single digits. The visiting club takes the win on the road. A solid win on the road for them. This building was dead silent by the time, GA, this one wound down.
And that's what you want to do. Take the crowd out of it by crunch time. Don't give them any chance to lift their team up at the finish.
Thank you for joining us. That'll